Mike Johnson in a speaker, and there was only one dissent, Thomas Massey. So all these other Republicans who sound off and how they're going to be conservative, they all end up going right with the rank and file. Now, this was Trump's pick, I understand that. But true conservatism is people like Thomas Massey. Now, the question is now, what is Mike Johnson going to do? Is he going to be the conservative that he's supposed to be, or is he just going to be another Paul Ryan? Also, we're going to discuss Mexico, what they just told Trump. Again, another big Trump victory with the Mexican president, who is a complete liberal and who said doesn't like Trump and doesn't respect him. Now, she's got a different tune. We're going to talk about what she just said. And then Trump, is he going to get sentenced? Are they really going to try to do something to Trump 10 days before the inauguration? Judge Merchan says he's not going to hold anything against Trump. However, he wants him to show up in court on January 10th to be sentenced. Now, what is this? I mean, what really is this case? They've thrown out just about every other one, debunked them all, and then Judge Merchan still wants Trump to be sentenced 10 days before he is put in as president. You can't make this stuff up. And then lastly, we're going to talk about our friends with these agendas. We clear 400 and something acres of trees that is giving back to the earth, lush, green, beautiful forest to put a wide array of chemically induced solar panels. You can't make this stuff up, man. All the while, cows are going to the most expensive they've ever been. What about that green initiative? What about all that? Let's take all the stuff that's natural and regenerative and just put metal, things that have chemicals in them. That's smart, huh? Let's dive into these stories today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to our channel, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. When you give us a thumbs up, when you comment, you're going to enter it into a giveaway each and every month. We have this new app off of YouTube, basically, where we see how many people are putting in comments, how many people are thumbs upping, and then what they do is they go into a random drawing and we're able to select a winner. So every time that you're commenting on these videos all through the month, you have been entered into a giveaway. We just gave away 3 things yesterday and the day before on all 3 of our channels, so make sure you check those channels out. Make sure you were not one of those people, but we did release those names. We'll be sending those packages out to those subscribers throughout the week. So thank you so very much for being a part of our video and our channel. We hope that we can give you great information on all 3. Now let's jump into these stories that are important. Now, I'm not going to address the Las Vegas Cybertruck issue. I know there's a lot going around, a lot of breaking news, so I'm going to leave that to some of the people that may have more knowledge of that. I think that story is changing too much to have an opinion on it right now. So I'm not going to voice my opinion there, but that video will be coming up because I want to get a little bit more information on what's going on there with the Las Vegas situation. Now, the stories that we're going to be talking to today is very important. First, let's talk about Johnson, Mike Johnson. Now, for all you people who support people like Chip Roy and Jim Jordan and Comer and Emmer and all these people, I have no problem with them. However, always remember, they're going to do the bidding of whatever the rank and file says. They may come out, they may protest, they may act like they're going to vote against it, if it's MTG, if it's Boebert, whoever, but all the while they're going to vote for whoever is supposed to be the person that the Speaker of the House is. They're going to get rank and file. The only sole member who always stands up and has a voice is Thomas Massey. Now, you know why I like Thomas Massey? It's because he is more America First than anybody else, even down to the MAGA movement. Now, you may not like me saying that, but this man has been the only principled conservative libertarian that wants freedom, less spending, and wants to see Trump and conservatives thrive. But he made a valid point, just like he did against Paul Ryan years ago. He said, we want these people to lead us, however, all they are is part of the establishment, and they've pushed bad bills. Why do we all of a sudden think they're going to change that? Now, I hope Mike Johnson proves me wrong. I've given Mike Johnson time and time again. I've made tons of videos on Mr. Johnson, but he has proven us to fail us and the conservative movement. He's done more to help, really people like Democrats and the middle of the road establishment people in Washington than he's done to help conservatism. You know, like last vote, the stopgap bill. The stopgap bill now. There was like 10, 15 Republicans who are voting against Johnson and wanting him to clean that bill up. They all go out there. Chip Roy, he gets out there and yells and screams like he's going to do something, and all of a sudden still votes for him. Here's what I like. Principled conservatism doesn't bow to anybody. I think one thing that I like about Thomas Massie, and I think this is why Thomas Massie should be the biggest, he should be the biggest advisor to Trump, is because he is willing to still tell his opinion, say his thoughts, represent the most brilliance of us all, especially because he's an MIT graduate, knows, he's lived off grid for years, raises his own food, and stays in the mindset of being a principled conservative, and he's willing to go against the fray. I laugh because he said all of them are being sworn in and I'm being sworn at, meaning that everybody's dogging him out for standing on true conservatism and principle. I hope that Thomas Massie's wrong. I hope that Mike Johnson proves us all wrong. I hope that he becomes the best trailblazer for conservatism ever. Quit spending money and quit doing all the things like the establishment always does. But guess what? He's not proven that yet. So he's got a lot to prove. And everybody's coming out saying, MAGA Mike, MAGA Mike. I'm just telling you, he better do a lot of different things than what he's done the last few years, because he's not done anything to represent conservatism. And actually, he's pushed against Trump on a lot. Not in the way of like Thomas Massie trying to make him better and giving him constructive criticism, almost undermining him. So this is something we need to pay attention to. He won in the first ballot. A few people switched their votes. That means they got something out of it. Remember, negotiations or something. Every one of these quote-unquote conservatives that came around, like the last 3 or 4, last 6 or 7 from the stopgap bill, they all got something. Don't ever believe that they're just like, okay, sure, we'll vote for him. No. Negotiations is they all got something. So what are they selling out for? Who are they selling out for? The question then still remains. And I know Charlie Kirk and I know a lot of conservatives are like, well, this is who Trump wanted. Well, let's see what he can do. The proof is in the pudding. Let's see if Mike Johnson can be the leader that he's supposed to be, or just another weak congressman like most of the other ones there. So I'm anxious to see. I'm a huge Thomas Massie fan. I tend to agree with him just about on 99% of the things he talks about and votes on and believes in. I'm just anxious to see what this next few days are going to hold up to. Now, I say days because you have 2 years. Republicans have 2 years. They don't have 4. They don't have 6. They don't have 8. They have 2. It seems like every time that there's a switch and the party of power like Trump that's in the presidency gets the legislative, they usually have 2 years to make changes, because pretty much it's going to switch after that, at least in one chamber. Now, again, we have bad leadership to me in the Senate, too. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad we're in the majority, but John Thune, come on, people, come on. Let's see what they do in 2 years. If they do the same things where they're going to permanently pass the tax cuts, that's a good thing. But that's not anything new. They're just taking the sunset bills that Biden left, that Trump started, and putting them in permanent tax cuts. That's great. That benefits businesses. Wonderful. But let's see what actually they do. Let's see what they do with the budget. Let's see what they do with the border. Let's see what they do with Ukraine. And it comes down to Trump better have his way with Johnson. If not, he needs to stand against him and find someone that's not Paul Ryan-like. I'm not happy with this vote, I'll be honest with you, and I thought it's kind of bad that more conservatives didn't stand up with Thomas Massie, especially all those ones like Chip Roy and Jim Jordan and Comer and all these ones that are supposed to be the firebrands. What is his name? Biggs over in Arizona. I don't know. I think that it's a little crummy to see weak leadership, and I think Mike Johnson is weak. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope that y'all can all come back and say, Colby, I told you so. Mike Johnson is a conservative juggernaut. I hope that's the case, and I hope that you can say that. You know what's so crazy? He was prior to becoming speaker. If you go back and look at some of his interviews, he was a staunch conservative. But what happens when you get power in Washington? The swamp just encapsulates you. So let's pay attention to what's going on there. Now let's move on to another story that's a little bit more important to me personally. It's this Judge Merchan story. Trump's to be sentenced on January 10th. Now, Trump already said he's not going to pardon himself. Biden said he's not going to pardon. Now, Judge Merchan and everybody with the news and sources are saying, look, nothing to worry about. He's not going to be actually, put in jail. He can't be put in jail. He's the president. And Jack Smith got off the case. Fannie Willis's case has fell to pieces. Nothing's going to happen. Here's the thing. Judge Merchan could have dismissed the case and never had Trump back in court. What is he trying to prove, bringing him back to New York to stand, quote unquote, to be sentenced in January 10th? What he's going to do is try to throw out some kind of outlandish charge to make Trump look guilty, to make him look like he's committed fraud or committed some kind of bad problem that he'd had to, quote unquote, pardon himself. So it makes him look worse than what Joe did when he pardoned his son. That's what they're trying to get out of this. They're trying to get a photo op. Judge Merchan should be disbarred. To then take the President of the United States, the one that is literally fisting to take office. This is not just a person running for the office. This is not even a former president. This is the President of the United States that you're fisting to bring to a New York courthouse to sentence with some stupid, outlandish charge. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen out of this, because I believe what they're trying to do is throw him under the bus like they did when they first, indicted him. Is he's this criminal. He's this criminal. It didn't work. But the question is, what are they bringing him back to New York for? Why are they wanting to grandstand this case 10 days before he actually gets put in president? Are they trying to make him, quote unquote, pardon himself so that way he looks as bad as Joe? I'm anxious to see. There's always a card. There's always a card that these Democrats are playing. Don't ever believe that they're just going to lie down and wait for something like this to just, oh, well, it's all a coincidence. Come on, we don't believe that. There's something that's in the works, and let's see what happens with January 10th. Trump being indicted again? Doubtful. But what is he being sentenced for on the indictment of the court case? What can literally they do to him that's going to cause him not to be president in 10 days? I think it's all to make him look like a bad person, to him have to pardon himself, quote unquote, pardon himself. Now, before we go any further, a word from a sponsor. This sponsor is something that I think, especially in January, you need to look at. We're all trying to be healthier, and as someone who really tries to be healthy, who runs every day, who works out every day, who takes a good bit of supplements, who takes a good bit of healthy food in, check out this company. So it is the 1st of 2025, and there's nothing better than trying to get our bodies back in good shape, trying to stay in health, trying to make sure that our weight is balanced. Well, look no further than my sponsor of today, Live Good. Live Good is a supplement company and also a health company that will provide you the best supplements for you and your health. Live Good believes that everyone deserves high quality supplements. And remember, when the supplements are high quality, usually the price is too. They offer the most premium forms of supplements without having a middleman. You buy directly from them. For instance, this month I've been trying to Live Good Himalayan Shilajit and organic sea moss. This is a good supplement for men. I've been on a regimen like this for a long time. I run every day. I'm also taking protein and creatine. They offer all of it. Most people can't get their daily nutritional value from just eating one or less greens a day. Check out their super greens and other supplements that could give you all the nutrients and vitamins that you're needing throughout the day. I can already tell that I'm on this supplement. This one boosts energy. It's great for my immunity. The Shilajit improves brain health. So I've enjoyed being on this supplement. Now, if this one's not for you, check out their line of all their supplements. Not only are they a great value to you and your pocketbook, they're a great value for your health. Start this journey to get healthier this year. Quit eating the fast food and the trash food. Start getting yourself on a better diet and let Live Good help you. From their collagen, their multivitamins, skincare, detox, creatine, they have it all. livegood.com/themax. You'll get a 10% discount off your cart. Please go and check out their supplements. There is literally something for everyone. It's all about getting better health, and let Live Good help you. livegood.com/themax. Now, a few more stories. There was a news story that came out that said President Biden is permanently banning more offshore drilling. He's also trying to lock in very difficult permanent bans to make it where Trump cannot tap these wells again. He's trying to shut down some of these wellheads to where these companies cannot retap them. This is all happening literally just 3 weeks before a new president goes in. To me, that's a slight, not just at Trump, that's a slight at America and in the economy. It's like they want to see America fail just because they hate Trump that much. I mean, listen to that. President Biden to permanently ban offshore oil drilling, to lock up and help revoke any chance that Trump could ever get that back, to make energy independence for America. I mean, it just blows my mind. I mean, it kind of goes along with this other story that just, again, it shows this green movement. It's not about green. It's about green, all right. It's not about the earth. It's about the dollar bills. Listen to this story. Michigan to clear 420 acres of trees in a state forest for a solar farm. So your Democratic governor in Michigan, and along with the EPA and the guidelines of the Biden administration, is now allowing clearing of forests. Now, remember, California, all these liberal places will not clear their forest floor, and that's why they have wildfires. You do realize that, because they won't reforest right, they won't clean their areas up in the name of quote-unquote greenness. So then they burn it to pieces, okay? However, in Michigan, the same green initiative, the same liberal ideology that's worried about the green dollar more than they're worried about the trees, are fisting to clear 420 acres of a tree forest to put a solar farm. So you tell me why they're doing that. Well, because that solar farm, I imagine, is giving them a lot of money. A lot of money to do that. I imagine there's a lot of kickbacks on that. So you're taking the blessing of God's gift to the world, which is the regenerative agriculture of animals and of trees giving back to our earth. I mean, you know, oxygen. We've got to have oxygen. And the trees and greenery help with carbon dioxide with exchanging. And I mean, it's amazing how we learn this in Biology 101 and Science 101 when we're kids. And now we're tearing down the forest in the name of cleaner energy? It just makes me laugh. You know, out here in my area, I live in a very rural area. We don't have like bad smog. We don't have, you know, bad pollutants that you can see. It's beautiful earth. You hear all the birds just flying around chirping all the time. You see, like, for instance, a buck was just walking on the property like literally last night, because it's the rut, and I love hunting, so it's just a beautiful sight. Our animals are grazing. Now, if I cut all these trees and put this monster silver chemical-laced landfill beside me, I might have energy, but I've literally killed the things that give life back. The grass, the topsoil, the trees. You know what? We're fixing to put in a humongous greenhouse. We already have actually I have two greenhouses and a hot tunnel. We're fixing to put in another greenhouse because I don't trust what's in our air. And I believe that the more and more that we see this particle stuff and the more we hear about all these things, I want to make sure that I can control my growing environment, hydroponics, indoor growing. Because this kind of stuff, greenness, clean energy, but you tear down everything that God has given us to put some chemical-laced Chinese parts on the ground to so-called give us clean energy, all the while capping off the natural sources of oil that is in our earth that gives us energy. It is mind-blowing when you think about that. It's absolutely foolishness. You know, in the Bible it talks about foolishness and how truly if you don't have wisdom, you could be smart, you could have knowledge, but you could be a complete and utter fool. And that is exactly what a lot of these people in leadership are. They're foolish because they may have the knowledge, but they don't have the wisdom of understanding what God has given us with this earth and how it takes care of us if we just allow it to. If we take care of it, it will take care of us. If we're missing that, we just miss it. It's mind-blowing to me. And that leads to another story about beef. I really thought, I was wrong here. I thought cattle was going to hit a high like everything else. And I actually thought it was going to start going down. I actually leased land last year hoping that the cattle would go down. It was going to be a new cow field and also a hay field. And I was like, oh, well, cows will go down. It's no big deal. And we're still growing our own herd. So I said, we're going to put a few buyers out there. We'll buy a few more. It'll be great because a lot of people are not going to be able to afford cattle. Well, lo and behold, there's a new story that says cows are at an all-time high. Livestock is almost untouchable for the typical American farmer. What it's doing is they're pricing it out to a point where you can't afford it anymore. I don't buy my meat from a store anymore. I literally grow all our own meat. Like I'm fixing to process a steer next week and some hog. And that's not counting what we did last week. But I had to go to the store the other day and I said, I'm just going to go check pricing. It blew my mind what a ribeye or what a sirloin steak costs now. Upwards of $12 to $20 for steak a pound, and that is mind-numbing to me. A typical American can't afford that unless it's a special occasion. Ground beef at $5 to $10 to $15, that's crazy. That blows my mind when I'm raising it for $1 or $2 a pound, including steak. But if they max it out so much that the farmer can't afford to make it without charging astronomical amounts, then what it does, it hurts you to a point where you can't actually enjoy beef, red meat, the benefits of good, healthy meat. And again, remember that cow is kind of like those trees. It gives back to the earth. It's a ruminant animal. It grazes, it drops manure, which gives fertilization, which makes the topsoil and the compost better, which ultimately feeds our earth, which feeds us. And all the while, we're pricing them out of existence. The livestock herd right now is as small as it's ever been in America. However, we have more mouths to feed. We have more dependency on food providers because people are not growing their own. The livestock is at its lowest point ever. Is there ever going to be a point where it's like endangered? Kind of like the buffalo? Don't say it won't happen. It's happened with the buffalo. Be careful. And if you can have any kind of land, please get some cattle or support a farmer who owns cattle, because this is a big deal. And when you start taking ruminants off the earth and you start cutting trees, you know that there was a famine report just a few weeks ago I told you about that the crops are not growing because of things in our air and our atmosphere and the tillage and the fact that we're not putting good quality stuff back in the soil. We're just GMO modifying it and putting all these asides, basically pesticide, herbicides, and all this stuff back in the ground, and we're making it where the ground cannot grow anymore. When you start taking ruminant animals off too, you're really starting to put us in a famine watch. Very dangerous, very dangerous. Pay attention to that story. Lastly, two more stories I want to hit on real quick. Mexican president came out and she said, after all the junk she said about how she's not going to help Trump and all this, and then she came back, wish-washed a little bit. I think she's realized now, but listen to this, I thought this was good, and this will help, I think, Trump and Johnson, the weak leader, actually do something. Listen to this. It says, after initially saying no to receiving deported illegals, listen to this, the president of Mexico just suddenly announced that she will work with President Trump to use Mexico as a deportation hub, even for the migrants that are not even Mexican, that doesn't have citizenship in Mexico. We will receive them and we will collaborate and become the hub that Trump wants us to be. So that, the stay in Mexico, remain in Mexico policy. Also taking the people that shouldn't be here from Venezuela, all these gains, they're saying, no, we'll put them back here. That's the agreement that we have. We don't want tariffs, and this is what we're going to do. And this kind of leads me to the tariff situation where people are like, oh, this is going to make our prices go up. You know why there's so many people driving Toyotas here in America? Go back and do the research. Trump threatened, our government, actually, it wasn't even Trump, but our government threatened tariffs years ago on Toyota unless they were made here. All of a sudden, Toyota started making trucks here. That was because of a tariff negotiation. It's not the fact that we want to do tariffs, it's the fact that we want it balanced. And this is just another situation where it's common sense. Mexico, you opened the border, you allowed these people in, you didn't help us. The Democrat policy, of course, didn't help us either. But now it's time to hold up to your end of the bargain. You made a hard bed, now it's time to sleep in it. So therefore, we're going to send these people back to you like they should have never been here, because you let them caravan through here, you let them do this, and if you don't, we're going to stick a tariff on you that you're not going to even believe. And all of a sudden, now she's willing to play the game. Negotiation. That's what we've got to have. That's what we need in leadership when it comes to Johnson. He can't negotiate at all, because every time he talks to Hakeem Jeffries or Schumer or anyone else in the opposite side, he looks like the weakling. He looks like the person who always gets handed the defeat instead of the W. Well, this is a W again for Trump. Huge win. And I think that this Mexican leader, who is a complete and utter liberal, had to swallow her pride a little bit and take this. And I thought this was a very huge move for Trump. And last report, I want to bring up one more thing, and this is where it gets serious. I get emails from people all the time, and I love getting your emails. So if you have information, sources, or newsworthy events, I want to hear about them. I always keep anonymous on who sends it, but this lady sent me something. I want you to listen to this. It says, my son works in the government. They gave a budget to him and to his organization, whatever part of government he works in, to build a missile for $150 billion on Friday. Now, I got this a week ago, so this would have been, this would have been probably 10 days ago, 9 days ago. On Monday, they upped the budget from 150 to 500 billion, and they said we are in extreme rush to build this project. He can't tell us a lot of things because it's confidential, just that something big is coming. Just thought I'd share this with you because I love how you spread the information. Now, thank you so much. And you know who you are who shared that email. When you think about the Cybertruck thing and the information that just came out with Sean Ryan, when you think about like this report, 150 to 500 billion, to all of a sudden they need to rush missiles to be made. When you hear about the UAPs and you hear about the drones and the the particles, the crazy quademic, I mean, all this stuff, the way you have to look at it is this: something big is coming. All I'm asking for you to do is have prepping insurance. Now, I'm not talking about buying insurance. I'm talking about prepping. You have to be prepared. Having food and water, having medical essentials, having things that you need is not a bad thing. If you never use it and everything gets better and Trump makes it for America, the city on the hill, the golden age again, where we take over Greenland and we take over Panama Canal and we take over Canada. I mean, if everything worked out great and Johnson becomes the best leader in the world, then that food, water, and all the prepping gear you would have used or you'd have for safety. Hey, I'll be honest with you. I hope I never use all the prepping stuff that I've bought in emergency preparedness. I hope I never have to eat my freeze-dried food and live off of it. I hope I never have to drink my rainwater catchment system that I've put in for safety. I hope I never have to use my vehicle that is the EMP-proof vehicle to go and bug out. I hope I never use any of that. I hope one day my kids look back and say, Colby, Dad, you wasted so much money. You could have used that to buy a trip to Six Flags. That's what I hope. But when you hear stories like this, where this budget went from 150 to 500 billion for this one guy's missile defense situation where he had to rush to build. Hear about the drones with China, and you hear about the buildup with China, and you hear that I mean, for instance, Russia claimed that they shot down every style missile that we gave to Ukraine to shoot into Russia. They shot them all down. So the technology, actually, they may have bigger technology than us. Okay, so when you start hearing all that, and you hear that Biden's capping off wells, you hear that he shut down a deal with a steel manufacturer from selling steel with Japan. Now, I think one of that says there's a conflicting report says that's going to pass now, but ultimately, it's like all of these people in Washington want to do is destroy the thing that made America great, the freedom, the capitalism, the entrepreneurial set, the innovation, the Christ-following city on a hill. It's like they're trying to destroy all that to build a subservient, dependent populace. Pay attention to these stories. Is something big coming? Don't know. But I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be prepared for it. And it's going to be like insurance. Hope I never use my health insurance. Hope I never use my fire insurance. Hope I never use my life insurance. Hope I never have to use all this prepping gear that I've got. But you know what? I buy all those insurances and I buy all this prepping gear for a reason: to take care of my family. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, remember to check out Live Good. Part of putting up prepping stuff and supplies and being healthy is having things that keep you healthy. Organic, natural supplements are very good. And when you buy super greens, or you buy super reds, or you buy protein, or you buy any of these things, like I'm on the Sheila G, if you start looking at ways that you can make your body healthier and buying the best quality food, that's great. But if you can't, then try to get some supplements that will help keep you at the very optimal position that you are in your body, because that's what we need, especially with this crazy world that we live in. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, God bless.